Now, this has to be the absolute worst nightmare for any athlete. You have spent your entire life training. You have even spent years preparing for this single event. This is your moment, and something goes horribly wrong. There's actually a young woman named Heather Dorniden. She's this D1 elite athlete running for Minnesota, and Heather was in the 2008 Big Ten Indoor Championships, and she was having a great race. She's coming up on the last lap. She takes the lead, and she falls. Now, some of you may recognize this guy's name, Rory McIlroy. At 21 years old, he is a rising star in the golf world. He's at the 2011 Masters, and this guy is crushing it. He's leading by 4 strokes going into the final round. No one can touch this guy until the wheels came off. And if you're hitting a shot next to a house, something is going horribly wrong in your golf tournament. And this guy could not make a shot to save his life. And he ended up getting 15th place in that tournament, and he spent the next 14 years losing that same tournament over and over again. And the Masters became the only tournament he needed for what is considered the ultimate prize, the career Grand Slam, something only 5 golfers had ever done, and he could not make it happen. We love the stories of victory. We love those stories of glory and overcoming. But what about the stories of failure? What about those stories of people coming up short? What about the stories of losing when it matters the most? We are jumping right back in our series, guys, Run to Win. This is week 3. And just to catch everybody up here, this is a culture series for our church, which means this is a big deal. We're speaking to our very identity. We're actually speaking to one of our core values. We run to win. So we are really leaning into this conversation, Noodles, of who we are as a church community here in Colorado at this time. We're talking about who we are called to be as followers of Jesus. And so we've been saying the last couple weeks, one of the primary analogies that the Bible uses for your life is a race. It's actually the one race that matters, the only race that truly matters, and it's also a race that you can win. But just like how an athletic competition can go sideways, your life can go sideways. Things in your life will not go as planned. They will not go the way you hoped. They will not even go the way you prepared for. And if there is one place you see this proved true, it is the Bible. You know, I find it funny because I think some people, when they think of the Bible, they go, oh yeah, that's the cute little book with all the positive, encouraging stories. So there's cute little Noah with all the pandas and the bunnies on the boat. And there's David with his cute little slingshot for all the big bad giants. And there's Jesus with his beautiful perm and his 12 disciples as they hold hands singing songs around the campfire. But if you actually dig into the Bible, you will see that it is far from a sanitary story. You think about someone like Noah. If you read his story, it's pretty clear that he had some issues with drinking. And he also at one point even cursed one of his own kids. David hooks up with another dude's wife, has that dude killed, and David's own kids even start murdering each other. You even think of Jesus, one of his core 12, Judas, betrays him. And in the moment that he needed even his closest friend and follower, Peter the most, Peter denies that he even knows who Jesus is. See, one of the reasons I actually find the Bible so compelling is that it is the very real and raw stories of very real and raw people. And what the Bible shows us, what athletics show us, what your own life is going to show you is that your race, your life, is not just going to be some nice stroll through the park on a beautiful summer day. No, when you think of your life, you know what image you should have in your mind for your life? This is more of the picture you should have in mind when you're thinking of your life, okay? You are running through a battlefield. There are bullets flying, there are bombs going off, People are dropping left and right all around you. And guys, this is really the reality that we just have to own today. There are people whose lives get blown up. There are people who get completely taken out of the race. And so we actually have one question we're trying to answer today. This is the key question. How do you make sure you don't fall out of the race? So what do you have to look out for? What are the pitfalls that impact so many people? What are the risks? What are the traps that so many people fall into before they actually get to the finish line? And so to kind of ease us into this topic, I want to go back to a passage I introduced at the top of the series. Hebrews 12, verse 1, it says this, "And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." So again, here we go. Here's the racing analogy, right? But here's the sentence I really want to lean into. It's the one right before this. And it reads this way: "Let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up." So what is Hebrews saying? It's saying if you want to run your race effectively, you want to be able to finish this thing, there are things that you actually need to look out for. There are things that are going to try and take you out of this race. And so I want to lean into the two things we see here real quick, even just in this passage. So first thing Hebrews says, you want to run good, run well. I don't know if that was grammatically correct. You guys know what I'm saying. You have to, number one, drop the dead weight. Now I want to make sure we catch this. Hebrews said, let us strip off every weight that slows us down. Now, I did some running growing up. I actually ran a race yesterday, killed it, no big deal, but that's just another sermon. But I actually, guys, I'm not gonna lie, in my old age, I think I still got it. I do, I think I do. And I wanted to have some fun with this. I'm genuinely curious. Are there any, I want to say, any young people in here that think you could genuinely beat me in a race? You actually think you could? You look at me, you say, I can beat that old geezer. Okay, this guy looks confident. Get up here, Miguel. Okay, get up here, man. Can we give this guy a hand real quick? Come on up, my dude. Yeah. Jump on up here. Oh, boy. All right. All right, what's your name, my guy?
Aiden.
Okay, this is Aiden, everybody. Aiden, you think you could beat me in a race?
Yes.
Okay, that was pretty confident. He did not hesitate. Okay, Aiden, I want to actually make this a little interesting for you, okay? I brought $1,000 right here in cash. This is how confident I am in my running skills. You think you can beat me? I got $1,000 right here. Who's going to hold this $1,000 for me? I don't trust you. Who can I trust? Okay, I trust you. You can hold the money. Sorry, Cameron, I love you, but that look on your face, you look too excited about that. Okay, Aiden, we're going to do a little race here. Okay, me and you, we're going to stand right here, and we're going to make this easy. We're going to just sprint across the rest of the stage. First one to the end gets $1,000. I get my money back, you can actually win it. Now, one thing I should probably mention, though, we were talking about stripping off every weight that can slow us down. So I thought we'd make it just a little bit more fair. You're kind of a tall guy. Can you at least hold this rock while we race? Is that good?
Yeah.
No problem with that one?
Yeah.
You know what? You don't seem bothered by that rock at all. Let me go back here and see what I got backstage. Okay, Aiden, here we go. Okay, here I'm gonna have you add this. Can you hold this too? You still good? Yeah. You can handle that to the end? Okay, this guy's cocky. I don't like this guy's face. Okay, all right, Aiden, here we go. This is probably more what I should be bringing out here. I'm gonna have you actually carry this while we race. Okay, here, you can have that. All right, now here's the deal, Aiden. You have to get across that finish line with all the rocks, okay? And I feel kind of bad that I gave you all these rocks. So here, I actually brought a bag. If you want to use that, you can use. Okay. Remember, you got to carry all the rocks. Yeah, you got to figure that out. Okay, so to make this fair, can we go ahead and count this off right now? Who's counting me off? Ready, set, go. You ready? Count us off. 1, 2, 3, go. No, he's fine. Count it off now. I need all the time I can get. Go. Oh, no, wait, no. Woo! Okay. He dropped his rocks too. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little too close. Okay. Aiden, you go sit down. I didn't like that. That stressed me out way too much, okay? Can we give this guy a hand real quick? Can we give him a hand? Wow, I did not like that. Give me my money back. I want my money back right now. No. That's my money. I'm gonna keep that right here, okay? I earned it. Okay, now follow me here. Is it sinful to carry a rock while you're running? No. Is it stupid? Yes. Now, if you would never see a runner running with a big rock, why do we do it in our own lives? See, what's interesting about this weight it's talking about here is it's not talking about something that's right or wrong. The word for weight here is just anything that's just heavy, bulky, anything that just slows you down in your race. And so Hebrews is just saying you got to look out for that stuff in your life that is actually hindering you from running as effectively as you can. And guys, there are so many things that just weigh us down in life. Again, they're not even wrong, they just accumulate. And so just to get us thinking, I just wanted to hit just 3 examples. There's plenty more. But for example, guys, one of just the weights that we'll see in somebody's life is simply busyness. Now think about this. So much of what makes us busy in life is actually good. You got a job you're working, you're trying to earn some money. You got your kids in sports and activities, you're trying to make them a well-rounded individual. You got social commitments, you got different things going on. That's all good. But here's the risk. Every single thing on your calendar is justifiable, but it starts to get heavy. And without even realizing it, you're not even doing anything wrong. You just don't have margin for what God has called you to do. So you don't have any extra strength or margin for the ministry that God's gifted you for. You notice that prayer just kind of starts to get pushed out of your life. You don't really have any space to be hearing from God. And sometimes, truly, you're just so busy that you don't even have time for genuine rest. Look what Jesus says in Matthew 13. The worries of this life choke the word. So Jesus is saying you have so much going on, so much is just going on in your head and spinning around that it starts to actually strangle your spiritual life. It's getting too heavy. And so you might have a life filled with a lot of good things, but you end up missing out on the best thing, the life that God has for you. Now, what's another one here? How about entertainment? Now, is it wrong to watch some TV? No. Is it wrong to scroll through social media? No, some of you guys are doing it right now during my sermon. It's a little hurtful. Is it wrong to play video games? I know some of the wives in here are like, please say it's wrong, Brian, please say it's wrong. My husband is 43 years old. He's still playing video games. No, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. You have a long day, you want to watch a couple shows, you jump on your phone, you're killing some time, not a big deal at all. But here's what was mind-blowing to me. If you just look at the typical average numbers of media consumption in our culture today, it's actually pretty astounding. I used as conservative of a number I could find because some of the numbers were so ridiculous I couldn't believe it. But if you look at a typical person and you calculate what will be their total TV and social media use by the end of their life, the typical person, by the time they die, will have spent 13 years of total hours consuming media. 13 years. If you play video games, you can add 3 years to that. Now, I am not here to guilt or shame anybody on their media habits. I'm not doing that today. But a lot of us here, myself included, if we took an honest look at our relationship with entertainment and media, I think if we had an honest moment, we'd say, you know what? Some of that, a lot of that, in some cases all of it, is actually not helping you run. It's a little bit heavy. It's slowing you down, and you can have a life so full of content that you don't have any room for God to fill you anymore. Now, let me hit one more here real quick. I think this is an important one. A third just piece of dead weight that sometimes gets in our life is really just comfort. Now, for the folks joining us online, I know we got different places and stuff. We are in suburban Denver here at New Hills Church. And guys, can we just have an honest moment? There's some nice suburbs around this church. We got some nice neighborhoods within a rock's throw of this church. And I am not going to apologize for any of that, by the way. I had to spend 4 years of my life in Missouri, okay? I had to spend 5 years of my life in Indiana. I earned it. I deserve to live here, okay? I paid my dues. And I'm going to tell you, it is a lot better. And you think about from right here, 20 minutes, you're downtown watching a Rockies game. You start driving west, you are in some of the most beautiful scenery that you can find in this entire country. And no, comfort is not sinful, but it can get heavy. And if you're not careful, you will start to interpret any form of pain or discomfort in your life as wrong and something to avoid. And you'll sometimes see this happen in somebody's life. They get so comfortable that they just don't really want to commit to anything. Or they start bailing out right when something gets hard. So they'll do it to people, they'll do it to responsibilities, they'll do it to organizations, even churches. Now, what did Jesus say? He said, if any one of you wants to be my follower, you must deny yourself and take up your cross daily and follow me. Did you notice Jesus did not say take up your couch and follow me? Your cross. And so Jesus, I think, buys into this thing we say, no pain, no gain. And so Jesus doesn't call us to a life of comfort and ease. He calls us to a life of sacrifice. And guys, man, we could talk about so many other forms of dead weight. How about possessions? Sometimes the nicer car, the bigger house, the more expensive toys, they take up more time, energy, financial margin in your life. How about relationships? You got a romantic partner dragging you down, a friend group slowing you down. How about just people pleasing? Regret, perfectionism. How about this one? Obsession with news and politics. You see that slowing anybody down? So the question sometimes to ask is not, is this wrong? Or is this sinful? That's not the question. Sometimes the question you need to ask yourself about the stuff going on in your life is, does this help me run? Is this helping me run faster or slower? Is this helping my race or is it hurting it? Am I just trying to run with a bunch of rocks? Now, that's the first thing we see here. We got to drop some of that dead weight. That's what Hebrews says. But now there's a second piece to this. And Hebrews says you have to make sure you also avoid the traps. Now, it said we need to strip off all that weight. It slows us down. And then it adds, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. Now, Aiden, I'm not going to lie. You scared me actually that first time. Do you want a chance to redeem yourself? He said, of course. And I'm going to make it interesting for you. Aiden, I don't just have $1,000. I've got $2,000 right here. Do you think you can run faster than me? He's still, get up here, you cocky little kid. All right? Let's see where this goes. Who's holding the money? All right, I'm a little scared right now. So Aiden, we're going to do this clean this time, okay? Let's line up. I'm not scared of you after seeing you fumble all those rocks. Now we're going to go straight across the stage. Now, the one thing I should probably mention, though, is talking about the sin that trips us up. So the picture there in that verse is actually something getting tied around your legs, so you trip. Aiden, can you just stay there for 1 second? I got to go find something here. Oh, yeah, this'll work. And dude, honestly, you shouldn't have done so good that first time, because now I'm really going to make sure you suffer for a little bit here. Okay. So we're gonna tie this guy up now. Now here's what Hebrews is saying. Hebrews is saying that we do things. Put your legs together, please, sir. I need to make sure these are nice and tight. We actually do things that tie around ourselves, and it literally trips us up during our race. Aiden, this is what you get. This is what you get, okay? And since you're a high school boy, I know you're up to no good, so we're going to make sure you're nice and tight. I need to make sure he stays. And so, guys, here's what's interesting, though. When Hebrews was talking about weight, it was talking about anything that is good, neutral, But sin in the Bible is always described as something. I only use 3 on the guy from the 9 a.m. I don't trust this guy at all. We're going to make sure he cannot run a lick. I got $2,000 on this line, okay? You all are going to wait while I tie these, okay? I got money on the line. So sin, guys, in the Bible, always something that's wrong. That's the difference. One more for good measure. I don't trust you. You're too muscular, dude. I can't even close it. Okay, Aiden, $2,000. All you got to do is make it over there. Okay? Who's counting us off? Who's counting? Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Hey, he did good though, didn't he? He did good. All right, give this guy a hand. Thanks, you, man. You're going to figure out how to get those off. Somebody help him get those off. I got a sermon to preach, okay? There we go. Now again, if you know you would never see a runner start tying ropes around their legs, why do we do it to ourselves when we're running our own race? And so again, here's the key here, guys. Sin, Hebrews says, especially the sin, here's what's different. Weight slows you down. Sin trips you up. And sin, it doesn't just making winning the race harder. Where's my money, by the way? Give me my money. I forgot about my tooth. I was like, wait a second. Give me that back. That's going right in here. All right. So, sin, again, it doesn't just make the race harder. It makes winning impossible. So I know this word sin sometimes turns some people off because they go, okay, here comes the fire and the brimstone and the God hates me and all the things. Well, stop just for a second. Sin in the Bible just literally means to miss the mark. It was actually an archery term used at the time. So it's really speaking to this idea of you're just not hitting the target. It's not going where it's supposed to be. So sin is anything in our lives that causes us to miss our mark. We miss our target. We miss the life that God really wants us to be aimed at. And so there are a lot of different ways we get tripped up. So many common traps. I'm just going to hit a couple, and I just want to get us thinking about some of the traps that get wrapped around our own legs. So, for example, what is a very common trap for some people? And I would say it's actually sexual sin. Now, there is an attitude in our culture today, very common, and it's, hey, it's my life, it's my body, so I'm going to do what I want with it. It's mine. I get to make the calls. And we say, hey, as long as there's consent, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you should do what you want to do. And honestly, it sounds really tolerant. It actually sounds accepting. Let's let everybody live their lives. Let's all love everybody. But there's just one little problem here. It's not true. So Paul, speaking in the New Testament about this very topic, look what he says. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? That's God, who is in you, whom you've received from God. You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. I did a message on this topic years ago at another church. And I remember a young woman coming up to me after the message, and she just got real honest. She said, Brian, I've actually been with so many guys that I honestly don't feel anything anymore with intimacy. And what this young woman was discovering is exactly what Paul was talking about here. That it is not just a physical exchange that's happening, it is deeply spiritual. And what she was doing with her body was also impacting her soul. And this is what God's getting at. He's saying, God made your body. God lives in you by his very Holy Spirit. And God even designed your sexuality to function a certain way. God has a mark. He has a target for you to hit for that area of your life. And so when we miss the mark in this area of our lives, it hurts us. It hurts other people. And I actually know I don't need to actually convince a lot of us of this in here. Because you've actually got your own story. You can actually, oh yeah, Brian, that did not help my relationship. That actually did some real damage to me. Actually, Brian, I'm still stuck and trying to get over this habit in my life that started forming years ago. And this is what makes the sexual sin temptation so strong, guys. Let's just be honest. The reason we do it is because it feels good. Let's just be honest. But at the same time, things like lust, pornography, getting involved with somebody you're not married to, it gets wrapped around your legs. It starts tripping up your race. And this is why Hebrews 12 says, make sure that no one takes part in sexual sin. Not because God's some angry killjoy, but because he knows it's a trap. And he doesn't want that rope to get tied around your legs and take you out of the race. Well, this second one, I kind of lumped a bunch of things together. What's a common trap we see for people? I would say it's bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, anger. You can just lump all that stuff together. What happens for so many of us? Someone in our life, someone who's maybe not in our life anymore, or some situation happens and we can't get over what happened in our life. We cannot move on from it. We actually get stuck in the past, and the past actually becomes a rope around your very ankles in your race. Look what Hebrews says in the same chapter, Hebrews 12. See to it that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. Now think of that picture Hebrews is using. Hebrews is saying this bitterness that forms inside of us, it starts as sometimes a tiny little root. But if you're not careful, if you don't rip that thing out, it starts to grow. And it starts to get tangled all over your life and trip you up. And for a lot of people, some of us, this is your story. Your inability to move forward from that event, from that situation, from that person is holding you back from running the race that God has for you. Let me do another one here, guys. I had to add this one in. Guys, very common trap is actually greed. Now, this is a funny one because I'll talk to so many people. Guys, I've heard everything. I've had people come up to me and say, Brian, I cannot get over this porn addiction. I'm stuck on it. I have people say, Brian, I have the worst temper. I cannot get past my anger issues. I have people say, Brian, I literally hate my mom. But then I'll lean and I'll say, how are you doing with your relationship with money? And every person I've ever talked to goes, crushing it. Not a problem at all. That is not an issue in my life. And here's why this one is so hard, guys. Every one of us here, you know somebody who has a bigger house than you. You know somebody who has a better car than you. You know somebody who makes more money than you. And so it's so easy to say, well, that's obviously not my problem. Elon Musk, doesn't he have like $1 trillion or something? He needs this message. He needs to hear this. Now look what Jesus says. Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Jesus is saying this is like a lion hunting its prey. This is one of the hardest things to detect. You have to watch out for this thing because it's going to sneak up on you. And the problem with greed is sometimes what it looks like is really good planning. Sometimes what greed looks like is a really good budget system. Sometimes it looks like you are on top of your life. You're being financially responsible. Sometimes it looks like success. But look what Paul says. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves, self-inflicted wound, with many griefs. And see, this is how our minds sometimes think. We think, okay, money's a ladder, man. That's how I climb higher. And in many cases it is. I want to be clear. The Bible doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is. And so some people will think, okay, I'm going to climb the ladder. And what they don't realize is it's not a ladder they're climbing. It's a rope that they're tying around their legs. And we think that this is something that's going to make our life easier. It's going to make it more secure. It's going to make our life more enjoyable. We're going to have more peace of mind. And we end up actually drifting away from the only one who can actually give us those things, God. And so you have to be very careful because some of us in here, because of the financial position that you've been building or just the way you think you're winning right now. But really, you might be getting pulled off the track. One more very quick. Common trap for people, and I had to add this one in, is simply pride. Now, Proverbs 16 says this, pride goes before destruction, an arrogant spirit before a fall. The hardest thing about pride, and this is what makes it maybe the most dangerous one, is this is the one trap you really can't see. This is the one sin that's actually invisible to us. Now, what is maybe a sign that this is slipping into your life, though? Well, if you've been sitting through this entire message and the only thing you could think of was, I'm glad this doesn't apply to me, that might be your sign right there, okay? You should pray on that one. But here's where I'm going, church. Here's the truth. This is the truth right here. Every single one of us, I'm talking about me too, there's a lot of us in here, we've got rocks that we're carrying. You've got weight in your life that God never told you to pick up. And every single one of us in here, you've had moments in your race where you have been tripped up. You have tied ropes around your own legs and fallen on your face. And these are the moments in our lives where we really start to get discouraged. Because we say, man, I've screwed up too much. I made that one horrible decision I can never come back from. We say, man, I've fallen too far. I got around some of those wrong people, and now I've lost all this time. I can't make it up. And these are the moments where we really just lose any motivation for our race, because we're like, why should I even try? Like, I'm just going to try to just make it then if I possibly can. Well, stop just for a second. In those moments, you just want to throw your hands up. You got to really think about what we talked about earlier. We said the Bible is the real, raw stories of real, raw people. Remember Noah? You got to read his story. This guy had a problem with alcohol. He had some real family dysfunction, but you know what's also true of Noah? God used him to save the human race. And he is listed in Hebrews 11, the very chapter that sets up this race running rally cry. He's listed as an example of somebody who ran his race well. David, he absolutely made some horrible decisions. He screwed up royally, but you know what God calls him in the Bible? A man after his own heart. And David becomes an ancestor of Jesus Christ, also listed in Hebrews 11 as an example of running a race well. You remember Peter denies Jesus to his face, completely fails, God incarnate. And you know what Jesus doesn't do? He doesn't get bitter. He doesn't get resentful. He forgives. He reinstates Peter, and Peter becomes the first person in human history to preach Jesus and his resurrection to the world. You guys remember Heather from earlier in this message? So Heather, Big Ten championships, trips and falls on her face. All of her running aspirations in that moment came crashing down. It was over for her. Do you guys want to see what happened in the rest of the race? Let's see what happened.
Dorniden went down.
Dorniden falling down, gets up quickly, but that's going to cost her. Lucky she wasn't injured.
Her teammate just went to the front, though, so they may be able to recover from that. And Dorniden is flying down the backstretch.
She is catching up.
She is going to catch Fawn Dorr, and she may catch the leaders.
Wow.
Well, she's got Fawn.
This is a gutsy effort by Dorniden. Can she pull it off? She's moved into third. Dorniden coming down the stretch from the outside. Dorniden coming on strong. Dorniden all the way. Dorniden. Yes, she did it. Wow, unbelievable.
Heather fell, and she still won. Do you guys remember Rory McIlroy? So this guy for 14 years could not win the Masters. And he's not a spring chicken anymore. And a lot of people are saying, okay, he missed his window. Clearly it wasn't meant to be. This guy's never going to be considered one of the greats. He's not going to get that Grand Slam. Well, 2025, last year, Rory makes it to the 18th hole. All he has to do is make that putt, and he misses it. Another failure, falling short yet again. This is going to be his legacy. Well, this put him in sudden death. One last chance against another guy, and Rory hits that putt in sudden death. And after 14 years of falling short, of tripping up, Rory got his Masters win, and he got a Grand Slam. He is only the 6th golfer to ever accomplish that in human history. And you know what people call it? The ugliest Masters win that was ever won. Just horrible, ugly, terrible. But guess what? That guy still won. He got his green jacket. And here is what I am trying to tell you today, New Hills. You might fall. Actually, let me fix that. You will fall, but you can still win. Proverbs 24, I love this verse. Look what it says. Though the righteous fall 7 times, what do, church? They get up again. Hey, do you mind doing me a favor real quick? Can you just put your fingers right here at the top of your neck? Can you feel right there? Do you hopefully feel a little bit of a heartbeat going on? Okay, if you don't, can you raise your hand real quick? Because that means you're dead and someone from our team has to help you. No, you feel a pulse. You know what that means? Your race is not done. You're still in this thing. You got another lap to go at least. And so let me just guarantee you this. Yes, your race is going to look real messy sometimes. You're going to be having all sorts of rocks in your arms that you need to drop. You're going to be tripping over yourself. You're going to be falling on your face. And guess what? That's okay. Because there is only one person who ever ran a perfect race. Look at what Hebrews tells us. Jesus understands every weakness of ours. He was tempted in every way that we are, yet he did not sin. Jesus, God in the flesh, came into this world and ran his race. And it was a race full of all the same traps and temptations that we face every day. Jesus gets the challenges we're facing. But here's the difference. Jesus never slipped. He never tied a single rope around his legs. He never picked up a rock. And Jesus ran the one race that none of us could run. He won the one race that all of us have lost, because Jesus raced against sin and death itself. And when it looked like Jesus had lost that race on that cross, when he's placed in that tomb, 3 days later, church, he crossed the finish line with his arms up, because our God is alive, church. Our Jesus has conquered the grave. He walked right out of it. And Jesus didn't just do it to do it. Jesus ran this race and he won it for you. Look what Colossians says. He forgave us all our sins. He has taken it away, nailing it to the cross. Church, Jesus, he defeated the one thing that wants to take you out of your race. And through faith in him, through depending on him, you can win your race too. And so Jesus, he wants to give you the strength. He wants to give you the help. He wants to give you the support. And even if you fall, as long as you get up, as long as you keep running with Jesus, you are guaranteed to win this race, church. So New Hills Church, I say we get up right now. I say we go win our race.